Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are well. So today I will be talking about my volunteering. I'm not sure why I haven't mentioned it before. It kind of is such a big part of my life that I kind of forgot to mention it in my get ready, get to know me kind of video. So apologies for that. But today I thought I would just sit down with you guys and talk to you through about my volunteering journey, about what I do, why I do it. So let's start at the beginning. So many years ago, I've always wanted to volunteer and help, women that have been affected by domestic violence or honor-based violence. Um, so back in the day when I thought about it, I was a bit scared of wanting to do it because, when you volunteer, you don't make any money. You're essentially volunteering your free time to help people. And back then, I didn't feel like I was going to be financially stable to do it because I was living at home with my parents, um, and obviously paying rent and paying bills, which back then for me seemed like such a weird thing to think of because I think it would have been much easier for me to do it back then than I do now. But essentially last year I thought to myself, I need to make a fresh start on so much of my life. I left my previous job that I'd been doing for 7 8 years and made some amazing friends, which I still have, and they're wonderful. I started a new job. My life was kind of in a standstill, and I thought to myself, I need to get out of retail. I need to know what I want to do with my life because in university I'd done journalism, and for me that had kind of faded away, like the passion for it had gone. So I thought, what else do I care about? And I care about people who have been affected by domestic violence because it's such a topic that's still so taboo today, um, especially in certain cultures. I'm not stereotyping at all. It is just situations that, if you talk about domestic violence or honor based violence in certain cultures, it is just swept under the rug. And it's not spoken about. And even in normal society today, when you're just walking down the street, you don't see adverts for domestic violence. You don't see adverts on TV. You see a couple of posters here and there, but that's because I do feel that the struggle to get the information out there is quite taboo. Like I mentioned, not a lot of people want to talk about it because it's such a sad topic. And I just thought to myself, I want to do something. I want to help. And little of me, I don't think that much of myself anyway, but I thought, volunteering my time, maybe starting a new career on something that I feel so passionate about and love doing. So I thought to myself, it's now or never. I'm 32 now. Obviously, at the time, I was like 31, but I was still in my 30s. And I thought to myself, what have I achieved in my life? I know that I've achieved going to university and, getting jobs and marrying, the best man in the whole world for me. And I have my loving family and I have my friends. But career wise, what have I done? I've jumped from retail job to retail job, and am I happy? Not really. And it's okay to be honest with yourself when it comes to, waking up one day and going, oh, this is not for me. So essentially, I thought, okay, let's start volunteering. So I looked on Indeed and I looked at I can't remember what the words that I was actually looking for, but I know it was like volunteering. And then I had a quick search, and then I did see Solace, and I thought to myself, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. I applied for the volunteering role, and I kind of sat back and I was like, if they don't want me, that's totally fine. I don't have any experience. But then later on down the line, I could possibly see if there was anything I could do to contribute. But I got a reply and I actually had an interview, which I literally, when I got a phone call saying that I was getting an interview, I started crying over the phone. I was a bit like, why am I so overly emotional by getting an interview? That doesn't mean I've got the role. But I was just so overwhelmed and so happy that someone had contacted me saying, we're really interested in meeting you and talking to you and you being a volunteer for us. I had felt so special. It was amazing. So I had my interview, and then essentially at the time they had said, oh, if you do get the role, it might take a month or two to process because they were moving locations. And essentially, the whole DBS background checks and etc., which I wasn't afraid about at all because I've never done anything that crazy in my whole life. So I was just a bit like, okay, that will be fine. Now let's just sit back and wait. And then essentially I got my start date, which was at the end of August. And so from then on, I do volunteering 2 times a week. So essentially, with my work, I had to reduce my hours, which they were great about because, you know, where I work, they're very flexible with the hours. And I thought to myself, I need to be more wary about what I do with my money. I'm not there yet. I still like to treat myself every so often, which you're allowed to do. But you know, the job I'm in, they do pay very well. They pay the living wage, which you know most companies should do anyway. But most of them are getting there. Um, so I thought, okay, I could live on this. I could pay my bills. I can have a somewhat kind of social life, and be positive with my volunteering. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm there 2 days a week. A bit frustrating. It does take me quite a while to get there. Essentially, I get 2 buses there. Um, but you know, one thing not many people know about volunteering is that most organizations do pay for travel and lunch. So my maximum on travel is like £10, which is way too much than expected because I don't spend that much. But for lunch you get like a £3.50, which is quite nice. Next to us there's like a co-op. I could get like a little meal deal, which is quite fun. That fills me up for most of the day. So yeah, essentially basically I go there, I read referrals which come from the police, which come from doctors, and other organizations like social workers. And essentially I look for the referrals, I call people to make sure that they're safe, um, and just kind of allocate them to an IDVA, which is basically an independent domestic violence associate. I think I might be getting that wrong, apologies. But it's something like that. So it's someone who deals with women who have been affected by domestic violence. So figuring out what they would like next, if they would like, you know, financial information, housing information. You know, they also do some courses which help women kind of open up, talk about, and learn about domestic violence. So, you know, why perpetrators do certain things, for them not to blame themselves, how to deal with their children if they're being affected by it as well. And essentially, I love what I do. It's so fun. I've mentioned it so many times before to people that I talk to about Solace, and I just go, I wish I could do it more. I wish I could do it like every day. But the realization, you know, is financially I can't do that as a volunteer. But they know that I have that passion. They know I want to do it. I want to be there. And weirdly enough, I was actually nominated for an award, like, which I was so shocked about because I was a bit like, oh, okay. So Solace do like volunteering awards, which was amazing. They had some crazy, awesome categories. I was nominated for most flexible volunteer, which basically is someone who kind of does more than they're expected, I guess. So someone who is more flexible in their role and is, you know, happy to take on certain roles, which I have done so many times. Admittedly, I in the beginning I was not very comfortable doing it because, you know, I'm still quite shy about answering the phone to people because you never know what's happening on the other line. You can never know if someone is essentially in danger right now. You don't know if they need like a refuge search. You don't know if they are just following up on, you know, just what's happening. It could also be professionals calling up about certain things. But you know, it's taken me a while to get into the groove of things, but I feel like I'm really comfortable now. And it's almost coming up to like 6 months, which, you know, is kind of the, I'd say, the minimum requirement to do certain volunteering in organizations. Also, I want to mention that they give out amazing training as a volunteer as well. I've learned so much. There's been training about the, you know, basic kind of information on domestic violence and, you know, sexual violence and domestic abuse affected by women over the age of 55. There's training on like safeguarding for children and for adults as well. So there's so much that you can learn, which is amazing because, you know, I've had to like compromise work and this and that, but I know that there's sacrifices that I need to take to pursue my career. So well, I was kind of thinking what else I'm trying to say. So, yeah, Solace essentially they help women and children affected by domestic violence. They're an organization that has been around for about 40 years, which is amazing. And they're in multiple locations around the UK. So I volunteer, sorry, in Barnet, which is not even where I live, but it's still a nice location to go to. But honestly, you would be so surprised how many referrals they get every day. When I first started, I was genuinely shocked that you could get at least 5 or 6 referrals a day. And it's not easy reading those referrals, but you have to be strong for people, because essentially you're the person who is going to help them try and understand that what they're going through is not right. um, because a lot of women do not understand that domestic violence is wrong, because some of them have been affected by it for most of their, either their life or, their marriage or partnership. Essentially, domestic violence is not just physical. It's financial, it's physical, it's mental abuse, and psychological abuse. And there's just so many different elements that I didn't know about until I started working for Solace, and getting all those trainings, because I didn't know that you could be financially abused by someone, and you can. And something I learned the other day is that you could be digitally abused by someone, which is, someone forcing you to, send illicit pictures, or, making, making them delete certain people from their Facebook because they are not comfortable with you talking to someone. And that is digital abuse. So I only found that out a couple of days ago. But there are so many aspects of domestic violence that people do not understand or do not, you know, take seriously, which is sad, because society needs to open up and understand that domestic violence isn't acceptable in any shape or form, no matter who it's to. But essentially, to narrow it, not to narrow it down, but to categorize it. Domestic violence is more for, if you've been affected by someone in your family, your partner. So essentially, it doesn't count off as one time things. Like if you get attacked in the street, that's not domestic violence. That's just someone who has attacked you. And it sadly, goes for like rape as well, because that does count. If someone in your family um does that to you, that obviously is domestic violence. But if it was a stranger off the street that did it to you, obviously that just counts as a criminal offense. And again, I didn't know that. It was just completely, the more you learn, the more your eyes are awoken. So yeah, I will hopefully continue to be with Solace, and for as long as I can, and even try and get a job with them. I know they provide so much training, and they have taught me so much basically about what I want to do, and they're so supportive about me asking type of questions, and just talking to me like I'm a human being, which is what everyone needs. You could have a really bad day with a customer and then it will stay with you for the rest of the day, but someone who is supportive and caring, because that's their job. And it doesn't stop with service users, it goes with everyone. And I feel like I am like that as a person. I try and be as supportive as I can to my friends and family, um and just showing my passion about helping others. As you can see in my t-shirt, love doesn't hurt, and it's true, love doesn't hurt, because and it shouldn't as well. So you know another serious disclaimer, like if you know anyone that has been or is being affected by domestic violence, please don't stay quiet about it, please talk about it. There's so many helplines that you can call. You can even call the police, and you can even talk to them, and they can make a referral to so many different organizations that can help you, and or help someone that so please don't be afraid. There's so many people out there to help you and talk to you. But yeah, I want to thank you for watching today's video. I do want to just quickly say I'm going to be making a video soon about honor-based violence, because that's another topic that I feel very passionate about, and a lot of people will probably not know what it is. And essentially that topic was what got me into um, wanting to help women with domestic violence, because it's very similar in that aspect, but it's very different, like culturally. So that is a video that I'll be doing very soon. I didn't want to do too many kind of serious videos in a row, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm trailing off from what I'm actually talking about. So on my channel, I will be doing a lot of serious videos, but I'll be doing a lot of makeup videos and just little chats as well. But again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please like the video. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. I hope it hasn't been too difficult to hear. And yeah, take care. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.